Everyone who has been in a car crash says the same thing. It slowed down. They saw it coming. They had time to think. Every one of them is wrong. We know they're wrong because someone built a machine and threw people off a tower to check. This is strange. Think about what that claim actually is. Your perception of time is speeding up during a crisis. Your brain is processing information faster. You're seeing more. You're experiencing more. It should be one of the most basic facts about human consciousness. It should be obvious. Instead, it appears to be completely false. And the reason we know that is a study from 2007 that required an experiment so straightforward and so brutal that it's almost hard to believe anyone actually did it. The researchers were Stetson, Matthew Fiesta, and David Eagleman. Their question was simple. Does time really slow down during a frightening event? To answer it, they built a device. The device was called a perceptual chronometer. It was something you strapped to your wrist. It had two 8x8 LED arrays, and on those arrays was a digit. That digit would rapidly alternate. It would light up, then go dark, then light up again. The same number switching back and forth between positive and negative. If the speed was slow enough, you could read the number. You could see what digit it was. But if they sped it up, something happened. The two images would fuse together in your vision. You'd see a uniform square of light, no number, just light, unreadable. They could adjust this device from 1 Hz all the way up to 166 Hz, 1 cycle per second, all the way up to 166. Here's what they did with it. They took each volunteer and calibrated their personal threshold while they were standing on the ground, calm, normal. They'd show them the digit switching faster and faster until they found the speed where that person could no longer read it. They found that personal limit. Then they set the device to a speed just past that limit, slightly too fast, unreadable. Then they took those volunteers to an amusement park in Dallas. The park had a tower called the Suspended Catch Air Device. It's the kind of thing that drops you backwards from about 150 feet. No rope, no restraint. You're in free fall, falling at roughly 70 miles per hour. For about 3 seconds, you're falling through the air. Then you land in a net. An experimenter stood at the top watching. Anyone who closed their eyes during the fall was disqualified. The logic of the experiment was clean. If fear really speeds up your perception, if your brain really is processing more information per second, then those LED arrays should start to slow down. The switching should become readable. You should be able to see the number. The numbers stayed unreadable. The volunteers read them just as inaccurately during the free fall as they did during the control task on the ground. There is no bullet time. Fear does not speed up perception. It does not raise your frame rate. Let that sit for a second. Everyone believes the opposite. You felt it. You know you felt it. The world goes into slow motion. You have time to think. There's a gap. There's a moment where you can process what's happening and decide how to respond. It feels real, but the experiment is showing you that feeling is wrong. So what's actually happening? Before their own dive, the volunteers watched someone else fall. Another person dropped from the same tower. And while they watched, they measured the fall's duration with a stopwatch. They timed how long it lasted. Then they went up the tower. They fell. They landed. Afterwards, they estimated their own fall. How long did their fall take? The results were consistent. The volunteers judged their own fall to be roughly 36% longer than the identical fall they had just watched. Their own 3-second fall felt like it took 4 seconds. Eagleman's explanation is this. Frightening events are stored as richer, denser memories. Your brain records more detail, more features. And the more memory you hold of an event, the longer you believe it took. His words, the brain is not a video camera. A video camera records at a fixed frame rate. Film it for 3 seconds and you get 3 seconds of footage. Play it back and it lasts 3 seconds. But your brain doesn't work like that. Your brain records density. When you're afraid, it's recording more densely, richer, more detailed, and your brain uses that density to estimate duration. It uses the amount of memory as a proxy for time elapsed. So far, that's interesting. That's a mechanism. That's an explanation. But there's a part that gets unsettling, because here's the thing. Those people believed, while they were falling, that time was slowing down. They had that experience. They felt it happening. The sensation of slow motion was there, but perception was not slowed. The experiment showed that. Their eyes were not processing information faster. They were not seeing more frames per second. So where did that sensation come from? It could only have been added afterwards, in memory, which means they did not experience slow motion. They experienced a normal fall. Then they remembered a slow one, and they could not tell the difference. The experience they had during the event and the experience they had of recalling the event were indistinguishable. Think about what that means for right now. You trust that what you're experiencing is happening now. It feels like it's happening now. The world is reaching you in real time. It's not. What reaches you is a reconstruction, a copy assembled slightly after the fact. The light hits your eye, the signal travels down your optic nerve, your visual cortex processes it, your brain assembles it into an image and projects it into consciousness. That takes time. Roughly 80 milliseconds. A tenth of a second. You're always living a tenth of a second in the past. But under fear, under stress, the recording gets denser. Your brain captures more detail, and that density carries a cost. The reconstruction takes longer. It stretches. And in that stretched reconstruction, things that happened in sequence can get reorganized. Things can be added. Things can change their duration. And you experience it with total confidence. You know it happened that way. You remember it. You were there, but you weren't. Not exactly. If your brain can do that to 3 seconds of free fall while you're paying more attention than you ever have in your life, if it can create a completely false sensation with such conviction that you can't tell the difference between the sensation and memory, then think about what it's doing to an ordinary Tuesday, to the moment you weren't paying attention, to the version of events you're holding in your head right now. That's not what happened. That's what you're remembering. And you can't tell them apart.